Jay Bear, here we are. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time, seeing this on my calendar. I was excited to get out of bed this morning knowing that we'd have this chance to chat. Uh, it's been a while. A lot has happened. This is like a new moment in the history of digital. Uh, so first of all, just thanks for being on.
Of course, great to see you, Andy, Chris as well. Delighted to be here. Yeah, it's funny. Like, I started in this biz when domain names were free. And I sort of feel like here we are, like another spin of the merry-go-round, right? Where it's like, well, we're going to start over again. And it's truly a new epoch, as they say. So, I am glad to not be 23 years old or however old I was when I started initially and having to say like, how am I going to make a living in this craziness, right? So fortunately, I can do some other things from an occupation standpoint now, but boy, the opportunities are huge.
Yeah. I think the context that we were talking about before the show to our listeners is we were talking about AI and where it can go and things like that. And I think anybody who's been doing this long enough starts to either get very optimistic or very scared or kind of somewhere in between.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that long ago. Andy, you and I talked about this, I think, a few years ago, that we started to move away from the notion of the page, the web page,
Hmm.
as kind of the unit of measure, the unit of information, and even in sort of the rise of social did that. You don't have to go to a website or a web page. You can
Hmm.
get what you need on Twitter, for example, or on Facebook, or on Instagram, or whatever. And now we're sort of taking that to the next step, which is you don't need to go get anything, right? You just ask your omniscient robot overlord and they'll answer all your questions, right? It's sort of like the information butler. We should have called Chat GPT Ask Jeeves because it's like the old everything old is new again.
It's still there, right? Ask Jeeves is still there, but they're not the ones who figured this out first.
No, it seems like they should have.
Yeah,
They had the chance, right?
they have the domain, but they
Yeah,
didn't. But
exactly.
yeah, I feel the same way. And for better or for worse, a lot of the things we search for, we don't really have the intent to visit a website. We have the intent to get an answer.
Yeah.
Google has for years been showing us now featured snippets where you can kind of get an answer, or the people also ask box where you can kind of get an answer. But at least in that scenario, the Google page was loading and someone was going to monetize something. Now, quite different. This, your butler, or I think of it as kind of an intern, is just sort of um, satisfying so many people's information needs without the need to click, without the need for a page to load, without the need for the visitor to, look at a UX and figure out where they are and am I in the right place. So it's definitely it's one of those moments. It's happening now. We're going to be in this moment for some months, but 2 years from now, things will be quite a bit different.
Yeah.